people at Geico weren't lizards.
Think European accent.
What's going on out there, guys? Thanks for tuning in. We're going to talk about the Amazon warehouse madness, where essentially, and everybody could see this coming, essentially what they want to do is basically just like automate their entire warehouse system. Now, they have plans to replace like 500,000 people. I mean, we saw all this coming. How successful they're going to be, I don't know. There's a lot of talk about, like China, like automating all of their ports. I mean, I guess you still, those jobs, that automation creates new jobs too. But you guys know me. If you're new here, I'm pretty skeptical of the whole AI thing. Sounds way too much like hype. And yes, I know the difference between artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence. There's also the fact that I wouldn't even really call AI. They're really large language models. So, I mean, again, it's another thing that's going around. It's another thing that we're seeing. We're seeing UPS has laid off a bunch of people. I don't know how much I'm going to talk about that. As it gets into the whole thing about doing YouTube finance, right? So earlier, I was watching this video. It was a reaction Strongman did. This guy wanted to come out there and he wanted to know who's better, Strongman or Meet Kevin. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, Meet Kevin, I don't want to say Meet Kevin doesn't know anything, because he did become a financial advisor. Now, I've been critical of financial advisors before, but I will say they do know something. Generally more than your average layperson. Some of them are great, some of them are bad. But, like, it's really what I think it is on YouTube, to be honest with you, is I think a lot of these guys don't know what they're talking about, but I think some of them that do the whole stock thing, because it's what I discovered. It's virtually impossible to do a fight. God damn it. You guys hear me? Sorry, I knocked my fucking thing out. Alright. There we go. Alright. Keep knocking. I gotta do something with these cables, man. I keep knocking them out. But, alright, back to what I was saying. I think some of them actually do know what they're talking about. They just do stocks, because there's just so much hype in it. And, you guys know me. I got bored with that. I'm gonna sit here, giving out my inane opinions on... No, dude, I got to do it on Tuesday nights, the Sunday night podcast. I got to do it on Tuesday nights for the next... So there'll be this one, then there'll be two more, because I'm working weekends, so that's why I'm doing it on Tuesday. But, yeah, I was watching that, and I was just like, the whole thing where the guy brings up that strongman, he was wrong on Alibaba. You're going to get stocks wrong, man, if you pick stocks. That's just the reality of it. But it reminded me of why I didn't want to do the financial YouTube thing anymore. But all that being said, that stupid diatribe I just did. I think personally, I don't think the economy ever recovered from the recession. I think what you're seeing with this crazy market is just the fact that they increased the M2 money supply everywhere in the world. Was it wrong? You just chickened out. Yeah, you can go with that, man, and that's part of the thing too. You know, is what it is. I think my dollar cost average on Baba was too high. I think mine was like 170 or something like that, but yeah, I got caught up in hype on that one. I ignored my instincts. I got burned. Whatever. Live and learn. Who cares? But we've got to talk about Robbie Starbuck is about to sue Google. Now, this does go to investing a little bit. I do like to still talk about individual stocks. I don't want to be out there, whatever. I'm not going to repeat it. I've said this ad nauseum where I'm like, look, man, predicting what the market is going to do is damn near impossible anyways. And the only thing you can really do, I know Nvidia's overvalued. How long is it going to stay overvalued? I don't know. Tesla's been overvalued for 5 years. And it's, well, Jay, but you said Tesla was overvalued and it really like, it hasn't gone down or anything like that. Like, why are you saying that Tesla's overvalued? All you need to do is look at your accounting equation to begin with. Or, you go, look, we'll go over it real quick because I feel like talking about it. But I'm going to throw you guys up on screen. And this is one of those things, like, when, honestly, finance versus accounting, accounting is the superior discipline. I had to learn that the hard way by majoring in finance. But look, you got a $1.5 trillion market cap. So, you come over here and total assets of 133 billion. Now, it's unlikely that you're going to get more than 15% growth per year. Now, you got to pick a time frame in there, but let's go with 15% growth per year, right? That's how much it's going to grow. Your assets are going to grow at 15%. Okay, so 15% is going to double every 4 years. So that's, we'll just say 266 billion in 4 years. In 8 years, that's going to be, what's that going to be? It's going to be 5 billion, or 500, that is going to be 620, what did I say that's going to be? 200, that's going to be 520 billion, if I could math today. Then that'll dump, that's at 8 years. At 12 years, it'll be a little over $1 trillion. So you're looking at basically like 16 years of nothing. Just doing a little bit of math on my head, rounding. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. And how long is it going to stay elevated? Who knows? It's impossible to tell. What's going on, buddy? I'm majoring in accounting. I'm a based gigachit. You are, dude. I'm actually going to go back to school for accounting. I wish I had just... Bro, here's the thing, man. Thing about the GI Bill is it's great until you realize that you kind of wasted it afterwards. What I should have done was I should have just double majored in finance and accounting. Because, I mean, let's be honest about it. If you're an accountant, it doesn't matter. You're always going to have a job. That's not the case for finance. It's just not. And that's why I tell people, I've had them ask me, and I've said it on this live stream. What would you recommend to somebody? Accounting or finance? Accounting. And accounting is not difficult. I'm not that good at it, but it's really not that difficult. You know what it is? We have generations of people that have gotten spoiled, that just want to take the easiest path. Accounting is honestly better for anything that you want to do than any other business degree. It just is. Economics. Okay. Let's be honest about economics. I subscribe to the Peter Lynch view of economics. And that is, if you spent 14 minutes on economics, you wasted 12 minutes. If you're going to go to school, business degree of any form, accounting is the best one. So, well, Jay, I don't want to be an accountant. Good. Any business you go to will hire you because you understand accounting. And I mean, a lot of businesses will hire you if you understand finance too. But basically, all finance is, in my opinion, finance is concerned with making money from other people's money. Yeah, you're right. Accounting is easier. I hated there's aspects of accounting that are going to be difficult, dude. I mean, I don't know what's involved in it, but if you go into forensic accounting, I'm sure that's much more difficult than preparing taxes and doing people's books. Yeah, I mean, it's like anything. Most of us are smart enough to be able to if we really wanted to. You got 100 IQ, and I hate IQ. Hate talking about it because I think it's stupid. Same thing that Stephen Hawking said about it. But if we just think that out, 100 IQ, average intelligence. You could probably get a bachelor's degree in math if you really wanted to work hard. But there's going to be aspects in mathematics that maybe 3 or 4 people on the entire planet actually understand. It just is. It's just the way your brain works. Something like a person could really struggle with something that you find easy, and then you really struggle with something they find easy. It just, you can have a brilliant writer who, I don't know how good J.R.R. Tolkien was at math. They're both languages. This dude could be the best writer on the planet and still just not get math really beyond basic algebra. It just is what it is. Doesn't mean you're dumb, but no, like I think if you're, to be honest with you, I know quite a bit, but I mean, if I was having somebody look at a company, I'm going to have an accountant do it. Just is what it is, man. So it's a long-winded way of me saying, like, if you gave me a choice in a vacuum, I wasn't friends with one guy and then reviled the other dude, meat grinder. If you just asked me, you said, this dude's got all the FINRA specs, blah, blah, blah. Which person would you rather listen to on finance? It's the accountant, hands down. But we got to get into this about Robbie Starbuck and how, like, we got to talk about the Grokpedia thing and how all of this stuff that was hijacked by the left is coming to an end. And I don't even really want to say it was so much the left. Here's Here's my opinion about it. I think there's a lot of really intelligent people that, surprisingly enough, what I say next, some people won't believe me, but I'm just going to throw it out there. In a lot of cases, it's actually easier to trick smart people. I don't want to say smart people, academic people, versus somebody with a quote-unquote lower traditional level of education. Because, I mean, we get into this thing, and even I do it, where we confuse academia and academic success with intelligence. It's really, yeah, okay, if it's physics, mathematics, engineering, weird, whatever. I'm like a climate physicist, so you're a physicist that studies the climate. Yeah, I completely agree with that. That is, some guy tells me he's got a master's degree or a PhD in mathematics. I'm going to look at that person and go, yeah, that person's got a brain. Even if you told me you were an accountant with an associate's degree in math, I still look at you and go, that dude has a brain. Okay? Now, you could come to me with some degree in like feminist studies and go, well, I have a PhD. Yeah, it means nothing because you studied nonsense. But oftentimes, it's actually easier to trick these highly educated people. It's hubris. That's really what causes it, in my opinion. You get a lot of people out there, and they go, you know what? I got 7 master's degrees. I'm really smart. I know everything. And then they don't want to admit that they don't know something about a subject, so they talk themselves into bullshit. And that's why I think you get a lot of people in the academic world that believe a lot of the corporatist nonsense. So, why I'm saying that, a lot of the attacks towards conservatives, where they really came from was Barack Obama and whatever act that was in like 2012. I think it was this Smith-Munson Act, something like that. Let's see. Smith-Munson. I think that's the name of it. Act. If it's not, I can't remember off the top of my head. Okay, I'm misremembering something. It's not here. But it was under Barack Obama. After the 2008-2009 bailouts, you got the Tea Party. The Tea Party were in the streets. So what did Barack Obama... Not that it was really just Barack Obama. Okay? I understand the president's really just merely a figurehead for the most part at this point. That's why the deep state and the other billionaires hate Donald Trump. They wanted him to just go in there and be a yes man and do what the system wants done. But, so Barack Obama in the IRS, they start targeting conservatives within the Tea Party. Then the deep state comes to them because of how unpopular the bailouts were and the bankers still getting their bonuses, which to this day, I don't understand how that happened. And I believe it's in Barack Obama's book. I didn't read it, but a buddy who did told me. He specifically mentions the bankers getting the bailouts and how that pissed him off. Is what it is, but that's really where a lot of this animosity towards conservatives came from. Was really that. It was really to protect the financial industry after they imploded everything. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do these comments, and we'll get into watching some videos. I know that was kind of a long intro. What's up, Alan? Yeah, No worries, mate. I just got to do this like on Tuesdays for the next, after this, 2 more weeks, and then I'll be back. Then I'll be back on Sunday nights. Yeah, I don't know what I did there. I hit a wire. But I've been wrong on way worse things. Oh, dude. I've been wrong on so much in life. And that's another reason where I was like, look, man. Another reason why is you might do a risky bet and then have somebody like load up their... I was like, dude, I don't want people buying individual stocks on my recommendation. Gil, yeah, he's in here. Yeah, dude, but again, you are a based gigachad for going to school for accounting because that's a skill, bro. Dude, it doesn't matter, right? This is why you want as many skills as possible. Thinking about writing just my own little book, and it's called Economic Warfare for the Common Man. Okay? You look at how they're weaponizing the system. You got the digital IDs. Like UK. Tony Blair has been jerking off to digital IDs since the late 90s, probably because his friend, that vile demoness Hillary Clinton, all the elites hated the freedom on the internet. Okay, to put it another way, elitists don't want the plebes to be free because there are certain things that can happen if the plebes are free. And nothing undermines authority like mockery and contempt. But you had Kira Stalin out there, and he goes, you will not work unless you have a digital ID. You would think accounting would be one of those things where they look at you and they go, if you don't get the digital ID, you're not going to be able to work as an accountant. You sure? I want to pull up that video. Not going to do it because I don't want to get a copyright strike. But one of the funniest unintentional, well, it was supposed to be a funny skit, but when Keir Starmer goes, yeah, we'll yank your license to be an accountant if you don't get the digital ID. You sure about that? You sure about that? Not going to be able to work? You sure? Like, that's literally what pops in my head. Because when you have a skill, no matter what it is, okay? Hey, you're going to have to get the digital ID to be a locksmith. I disagree. Here's why. I put my phone number on the internet. What are you going to do? Are you going to arrest me for working as a locksmith without a license? Well, the dude wants to get into his car. So he doesn't give a fuck whether I have digital ID or not. If he has a digital ID, I'm going to tell him to give me $50 cash or whatever. Like, if you have a skill, wealthy people do not care about the law. In fact, wealthy people think they're above the law. So if you have a skill, like let's say you're an amazing drywaller or you're an amazing carpenter, tileist, whatever it is, and you go to those rich people's houses, they're going to pay you cash anyways. Even if they're like, well, can I Zelle or whatever queer ass fucking app that everybody is trying to get me to use. So I get yelled at by... I got this friend, right? And I forget what this was about, but he wanted me to Zelle him some money. I borrowed like $50 from him one night. Whatever. It was what it was. It was like, wow, dude, why don't you just Zelle that back to me? I'm like, bro, I'm going to go to Publix. I'm going to get a money order, and I'm going to mail it to you. Well, no, dude, why don't you just do the Zelle thing? And I'm like, because I'm not putting any more apps on my phone. And number two, it's trackable. See, here's ideally, in the economic warfare, I've been thinking about this book. Because I do think the elites need to be reminded of this. Or the elitists. Ideally, because you want to get Social Security. So you want to pay into the system. Ideally, what you would do, skill like accounting is great for this. You go to your job, whatever it is, corporate job. Then you keep books or do taxes on the side, and all of that is in cash. This is really what the system is going after, is total and complete control. The digital IDs, the crackdown from the elites, all of this. Think about what happened 80 years ago. It was really a continuation of World War I, but again, authoritarianism seems to rear its ugly head about 80 to 100 years, which is the debt cycle. But what you want to do with that cash, because I've evolved on this, in my opinion, is this. Buy gold and silver, watches, things of value. Store them. Don't let anybody know. Just in case we're at the point where you're sitting there one day and you get, "Excuse me, sir, why haven't you registered for your digital ID?" They're not going to be able to go authoritarian in the beginning. The first thing they need is enough buy-in. But I'm telling you, all this digital ID crap is going to be pushed on every country around the world. It's coming. What's up? Personally, I prefer finance over accounting. Finance majors make more on average. I think it's more interesting. But accounting majors can do finance where it doesn't. Yeah, and I mean, that is my main point about. Look, here's my opinion on it. Just double major. If you can do accounting, okay, there is nothing in finance that is more difficult than anything in accounting. In all honesty, and like you said, I do actually prefer the finance over accounting. But again, there's nothing in finance that is going to be so in fact, accounting is going to help you get through finance. So that would be my suggestion to most people. If you're thinking about doing one, just do both. If you can afford it. I know that's a weird thing for me to say with other people. Just do both. You know what I mean? When I don't know your financial situation, but that's what I would recommend. It's one plus. Yeah, I mean, look, if I was going to rank them in order of usefulness, it'd be accounting, finance, probably economics. Then, I don't know, business management. I think that's the most useless one of them all. Marketing. It is what it is, and it's ultimately just going to come down to you. But, you know, if I had my druthers, like I said, I'm just going with accounting. Hopefully he's got himself a woman or something. Yeah, I don't know, man. Gil does his Gil thing. You're right. Accounting is easier. I heard my... Yeah. Gil said he was a successful game dev, right? Unfortunately, I hope he's okay. Well, obviously, I hope... You know... Yeah. I'll have to take his job in Strongman's Live if he doesn't. Why is he not on there harassing Chris now at this point? I don't need any economics or accounting. I have daily updates from Meet Kevin and if Trump itched his nuts in China and tweeted and it went well. Yeah, dude, you're going to find it, like, whenever there's a reversion, I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't think we ever recovered from COVID, and I think that bill is coming due soon. But you're going to see Jeremy LaFave switch to doing the news. You're going to see all sorts of desperation because you can't make that money anywhere else. And these guys don't. Wow, Kevin has some skills. Graham Stephan owns some real estate. Andre Jade can go jerk off some hobos and do some magic tricks. But what is Jeremy going to do? Like honestly, what is Jeremy going to do? Kevin has me prepared for tomorrow's Fed rug pull too. I thank God. Yeah, meat grinder. I have a high school degree, but I'm smart enough to have the bulk of my money in VOO and QQ. Yeah, no, dude. Bro, it's like I'll only throw out degrees if it's like for that subject, right? If I'm sitting there talking to somebody who's, just wrong about the subject they're talking about, and I'm sitting there and I just look at somebody and they go, well, where are you getting your information from? I literally was trying to explain how overvalued NVIDIA was to this woman at work who bought it only because Nancy Pelosi bought it. And she goes, where are you getting your information from? And I go, facts. And she's like, what do you mean facts? I go, and I did that thing. I go, does 4 trillion equal 140 billion? And she's trying to argue with me, and I'm like looking at her, and I'm going, I don't even know what you're arguing about. Like, because what you're saying doesn't make sense. And then she's like, well, I don't know why you think you know what you're talking about. And I looked at her and I went, I have a bachelor's in finance. It doesn't mean that I know everything. It is an appeal to authority, but in this situation, I am the more knowledgeable one of the two. Okay? I was trying to help you save money. I told you to take profits on it. I told you how to put it into your portfolio and proper allocation. You then come back to me with some nonsense that Nancy Pelosi bought it. And I mean, that's the gist of it. But yeah, I do not notice a discernible level of intellectual ability between the people I know that went to college and the people that went into the trades. In fact, I would in general say that most of the people I'm around that went to school for the trades are probably smarter than the people that went to college. Not always. I have a friend. He has a PhD in physics and he works at Rochester Institute of Technology. I'm like a chimp next to that guy, but it is what it is. You're ever going to be able to... Probably hippo mode for a while, man. Number one, too, man, I like to be able to say what I want to say. And if you, if my channel ever blew up, I don't think it will, because it's a talking hippo. And to be honest with you, I don't know how much attention I would want anyways. But, dude, if you see what, Tim Pool, a lot of these guys that are more conservative, and I mean, not that all I do is politics like that, but I don't want to have to get security. So I don't know, I may be on some whiteboard videos, but mostly I'm happy with where everything is. All the accounting majors. Oh, it probably is, because it's dealing with the government and it's a bunch of stupid shit. Chris talks about working for the government as an accountant, and he said it's awful. It's boring. Honestly, I'm going to do my time in the government. If I retire if I don't get a better position in the next 10 years, I'm leaving the VA. I'll go do something else. It's 25 years of federal time. I think I would be able to start drawing that retirement plus my VA disability. I'll do something else. I'll just do taxes for like half the year at H&R Block. You know what I mean? And then go to school to become a machinist and go build guns. Oh, no, you old man. Zelle isn't an app. It's built into almost every man. Oh, all right. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm a boomer on technology. I'll freely admit that. I don't know if it was Zelle that he was saying, though. I don't know why that was in his head, but he wanted me to use some fucking app. And I go, fuck you, I'm going to mail you a money order. I feel like I'd have to grift. Dude, almost all financial advisors are grifters. Think about it like this, bro. You're charging 1%. Okay? Now go compare that to what just buying VT or the expense ratio within your 401k. It is what it is, man. Like that 1%. So it's like, okay. All right. I like this one. Ramsey investment calculator. Ramsey. All right. So here we go. I think I've done this before, but we're going to look at it again. All right. We use Dave Ramsey's investment calculator. We'll just go, you're 18. You went right in. Let's just say you're going to start with $100. How much are you going to contribute monthly? I'm just going to say that you average $700 over the course of your life, and we'll give you a 7% return. Somewhere about the market. Okay. Remember that number. 3,551,514. We could even adjust that a little bit for the expense ratio by saying 6.9. But okay, so you'd have $3.5 million, right? Let's lower that to a 6% return because your financial advisor took 1%. Where are we now? You lost $1 million. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And look, I'll say, if you're a person that doesn't know anything and you start out with a financial advisor, great. And if your financial advisor gets you to the dance in retirement and you're happy with it, great. But I don't see what your financial... Here's my idea for your portfolio. Straight up. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 80% in VT, or let's do it a little bit closer traditional. We're going to do 70% in VT, 20% in T-bills, 5% in gold and precious metals, and then 5% for individual stocks. Why do you need a financial advisor? I don't think, maybe the financial advisor is great. And he beats that by 1%. Or even 2%. But I want to ask, what are the odds that you get the financial advisor that's going to outperform the portfolio that I just threw in front of you? And you could adjust it. Maybe you want 30% T-bills. Maybe you want 10% T-bills. However you want to do it. But I'm just saying, I'm not really seeing what products for the most part, financial advisors are going to put you in. That's going to beat that portfolio. I'm not really seeing it. And, maybe because I've had financial advisors get pissed at me where I'm like, I'm like, dude, I'm just going to do a VT mostly in T-bills. And then I have a Robinhood account, okay? I have a Robinhood account. That satisfies my need to buy individual stocks. There you go. And maybe with that little bit of money, I think I started that Robinhood account a year or two ago. I only have like $2,500 in there. I occasionally throw $100 in on it. Like I got in on that United Health. I had forgotten about it, and then I saw Buffett bought it, and I went and looked at the numbers. I go, I'm buying one share of that. But there you go. If you're going to buy individual stocks, why not just have a small Robinhood account? Imagine you threw $100 in Palantir. It's a nice little return. You don't care. You can gamble because you don't care if you lose the money. Like Zelle isn't a standard, but I guess you could mean you don't want to have Chase Bag. Yeah, dude, I try to limit the amount of apps on my phone, to be perfectly honest with you, because every app is just taking your data. So it's like, all right, you guys already have enough information on me. I don't need you to know that I went grocery shopping at Publix at 6 o'clock on Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. That's why I don't do it. Probably dead, to be honest. Jesus Christ, man. Internet warrior. My son wants to go to Stanford for finance business for bachelor's. I told him he's better off in a more affordable school for that, and then go there for a master's if that's what he wants to do. Dad is 100% right. What is the Stanford? How much is Stanford per year? University. Because I'm about to tell you something that a lot of people aren't going to like. Cost. No way. No way. Dude, are you guys seeing that? All right, let me put this up on screen. Stanford for finance. Bro, somebody's failing Finance 101 right here. Look at this. Estimated cost for what? Dude, a Stanford degree is not going to get... It's not going to get you in the door. So I have questions now. Okay. If you're steelheads, if you're like some rich guy, I don't know. Like you have $100 million in the bank and you want to bankroll him $400,000 for your undergrad. If you're like just rolling in money, yeah, pay for your son to go there. But if your son is going to go $400,000 in debt for a finance degree or a business degree of any kind, you have failed finance. You failed finance. This is what I would recommend. I would recommend your son spends the first 2 years at a community college. And then if he must go to a 4-year institution, go to some in-state school, get the standard in-state tuition. It's going to depend, honestly. But, all right, let's do another thing. I want to show you how much this is going to cost him over the course of his life, right? Um, all right, so we're going to do $400,000. Or say he starts working at 22. I'm going to say he contributes $10 a month because what I want to show is how much he would actually be losing out on. Okay, 7% return. Because what I'm saying is he could have just taken this $400,000. This isn't the real way you would do it. I would have to think this out more. But he comes out of college at 22. He's got $400,000 in debt he has to pay back. All right, which is going to be more because of the interest, but we're leaving that out. So what I'm saying here is he doesn't go to college. He takes $400,000. Then he just contributes $10 a month for a 7% return. There you go. That's how much that opportunity cost. I'm going to add this to the stage. It'd help if I wasn't retarded. $9,287,312. Because he had to go $400,000 in debt to get that degree. This is like, brother, whatever you do, as a good parent, you need to sit down with him and show him how much money that's going to cost him over. And that's not even the money he's going to pay back. All I said is he took that $400,000, didn't go to school, and invested it. That was opportunity cost there. But let's go even further. Because that $400,000 is probably going to end up being like $2 million after he pays it off. Don't let him do it. It will ruin his life. Now, if he can go there with no debt, that's a completely different story. And I don't know what your financial situation is. But even if I was a really rich dude, I would look at my son and go, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. I'm not paying $100,000 a year for some shit left-wing university in fucking crap hole California so you can be indoctrinated into left-wing ideology out there, and for that luxury pay them $400,000. This is literally life destroying. There's doctors that don't have $400,000 in debt coming out of medical school. I mean, Western Governors University, $3,500 for the tuition per semester. So I don't know if I think it's per semester. Okay. I'd actually have to go and figure out how that worked. But you could do online classes or community. Yeah, I can't go with that, dude. No, not even for his master's. How much is master's? Varies. Tuition is approximately $67,000. $130,000 for an MBA. You literally, I could walk down the street and throw a tennis ball and hit a dude with an MBA. All of these degrees, these luxury degrees, they don't mean anything now. It's like you have degree inflation, you have grade inflation. College doesn't mean what it used to. So you should be a VTuber then. They use an avatar instead of showing their faces. You can be an Oh, dude. All right. I'll look into VTube. Oh, dude. The furries are going to love me. Jada voice. And, oh, dude, that would be awful. It's necessary for civilization to continue. Agreed. But he will get banned on Twitch the first day. Oh, dude, I'd get banned off of Twitch. If I went on, like, even now, I dial it back. I really do, because a lot of things, I mean, my views on the unproductive class of leftoids, it's really that these unproductive people think that we should all pay for them. But, you know, I don't mean a lot of things I say. If you, like, ask me later, I go, yeah, I went a little bit too hard there. But, no, dude, it's crazy. Same voice, just a Sailor Moon type body. They're racial big guts. Oh, my God. I have most of my money in individual because I'm a big fan of... I can outperform the market. Oh, did you really, Dex? Yeah, I went there and I got my groceries for the week. I went to an advisor and told him I want my own fee structure since he was so confident. I said, if you beat the market by 10% in a year, you can charge me 5. But if you lose to the market by 10, I want... Yeah, right. And see, that's another thing. You know what I mean? It like, for the financial advisor class, if they beat the market, that's their own brilliance. If they underperform the market, or, you know, they're having a shitty year, it's because of the market. So, like, none of it makes sense. And I'm like, dude, I'm sure if you actually did that, that dude was probably just giving you a look of hate. It's the same question I asked when they said, we want to tax unrealized gains. Like, okay, well, can I write off my unrealized losses then? For when he beats the market, he told me to fuck off. Yeah, dude, of course. Publix offers workers... Yeah, dude, I agree. Like, it's almost like worth it to just get a part-time job at Publix and just just use your money to buy the stock there. But, again, I would rather be able to just take my money and do what I want with it. I miss Gil. Why do you miss Gil? What happened to Gil? Nobody's seen Gil? Dude. Maybe I'm going to get a job at Publix when the market crashes. I went to community college and went to the lowest ranked university in my state. Everything still worked out. I make over 6 figures a year. And that is a weird thing. Like, Harvard will tell you, well, we don't know if you can stand up to the academic rigor here. Harvard has experienced massive grade inflation over the years, right? And who cares? Ivy League schools are getting to the point now where they're turning into jokes, okay? That's where we've gotten with all of this, is that we're now at a point where it's only going to get worse from here, where somebody talks about their Ivy League degree and then everybody just starts laughing. Like, they've completely undermined the credibility of Ivy League institutions. Ketanji Brown Jackson went to, what'd you go to, Harvard or Yale? And this person is a Supreme Court justice who can't even formulate a sentence. It actually, when I was sitting there, I go, I should go to law school. Can't be that hard if Ketanji Brown Jackson made it through. And Kamala Harris, I wish Don Lemon could walk in here and go, it's pronounced Kamala. So I could go, it's pronounced fuck off, Don Lemon. But, yeah, it doesn't matter. You get it in your head, oh, I have to go to this school. And this is what they do to kids. I gotta go to Stanford. It's not going to make a material difference with how much you make in life. Unless you make a connection there. When somebody gets you into a job early. Same. I didn't have to go. Like, in the state of New York, basically, and I don't agree with it, but you can get an associate's degree for free there. Why wouldn't you go there and do that? Good evening, Jay. What's going on, man? Cliff Bar's on sale. Head to buy 8 big boxes. Oh, dude, Cliff Bars are... Which one? The dating channel? I just watched his video with that one weird dude. It's just networking for pretentious people. The degree is worthless. The laws of accounting and physics don't change whether you're at Harvard or a flagship. Oh, I agree. Well, I don't know how much truth there is in this, but I can't remember whether I read this or I heard somebody on YouTube talking about it. In that the political science degree was actually created at these Ivy League institutions as a degree for their elite children who were going to go into politics and management. That's where I heard that it comes from. But give me a second, guys. It's an hour in. I'm gonna go take a leak, and then we'll come back. I want to react to a couple of Jimmy Dore videos. So. Because it's pretty eye-opening, but I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, dude. No, I mean, look. George Bush, John Kerry. I mean, the fact that people still believe that there's actually a political division, it is remarkable to me. Like, John Kerry and George Bush were members of Skull and Bones at Yale. Funny how all these guys, all these politicians, when you look at, well, not all of them, but a lot of them, when you look at it behind the scenes, they're all related. And it just is what it is, man. It's just how things work, right? So, you know, these people, they run in the same social circles. They get to know each other. And I explain it all the time. The Democrats are socialists. The Republicans are Fabian socialists. They're Trotskyites. The neocons actually come out of Trotsky. It was the Trotskyites come into America in the 1950s. Because you have to wonder, why is there this giant hard-on for Russia? I mean, I don't get it. Like, after the Cold War ends, we won't allow them to join NATO, maybe because they didn't want another, Russia was still a powerful country. They didn't want anybody that could rival the U.S. But, where does this hard on for, I don't want to see Russia. I don't want anything bad to happen to Russians. But it's you got to ask the question, where's all this Russia hate come from in America? Certainly not from the populace. Most of us are what do you think of the Russians? Cool people. They're over there. I'm over here. Wow. They invaded the Ukraine. They're over there. I'm over here. It's like this amazing thing. The media comes out and they're like, don't fall victim to Vladimir Putin propaganda. Like Vladimir Putin is hiding under my bed. I don't know. I mean, this is just some of the stuff I've read. What happened to... Oh, dude. No, I don't jet ski. I don't really... it's not really my thing. I mean, it's cool, but pretty much. Gil shorted the market, claiming a major downturn was happening. Yeah, dude. I know the market's massively overvalued. I don't short it. What's the Buffett indicator? Buffett indicator is current. Buffett indicator. What are we looking at? Buffett indicator. We're at 217. So, I mean, I'd have to actually go and look. I mean, I could calculate it, but yeah. And we're at 222% in late October of 2025. So, yeah, this is officially the most overvalued. A ratio above 100 is considered overvalued. And reading near or above 200 suggests potentially unsustainable market valuations. Obviously, but yeah, I don't understand the shorting thing. I really don't. I don't understand why people do that. Why they get so far. He probably did. If he was short in the market, yeah, he's down more. Getting an idea in your head that you understand what the market is gonna do is like getting an idea in your head that you can predict what every person is gonna do. It's irrational. Nobody is that intelligent. If you have maybe a crystal ball, but it's I don't get it. To me, it's perfectly obvious that the market is massively overvalued, and it was starting to come back to normal levels in 22 or 23, and then they increased the money supply again, and it is what it is. But maybe he's early in the movie, as long as he can cover. Well, I don't know, man. Michael Burry had picked apart those credit default swaps, and he could see that there was no possible way these people could pay their bills, but he was just early to the party. It's guaranteed. He's been absent from all strongmen's. Yeah, man, there's a thing people do where they get overconfident and they start showing up, and they start thinking that they're smarter or they're better. I don't know what term to use. They're smarter or better at this whole game than they really are. I don't know what's going on with the Charlie Kirk thing, right? I'm kind of out of that. I don't say Jimmy Dore's been going hard on the Charlie Kirk thing, and Jimmy Dore's a lefty, but I still like him. But he had some videos on there, and one of them, that's what we're going to look at right now, was Where is it? 1 day ago. Trying to find this. Should have had it laid out. 4 days ago, Israelis mass Netanyahu. Should piss you off. I don't know where it is, but whatever. I'm going to talk about it anyways. So Robbie Starbuck. Fuck. Maybe I'm not going to do it. Where is it? I'll find it in a second. Should probably plan out my streams, but I don't. Is there? All right, here's what we'll do. We'll get it straight from the horse's mouth. We're not going to watch the whole thing. Thought Jimmy Dore did one on there, but maybe not. Okay, if you're unfamiliar, because this is what...
You won't believe what I found on Etsy. Personalized ornaments under $50 and custom stockings with...
If you want to learn about someone, where's your first stop? Probably Google. Today I'm filing a massive lawsuit against Google.
Robbie Starbuck is accused of murder, assault, and multiple horrific rapes.
For 2 years now, various Google AI and search products have invented a staggering number of false and highly defamatory claims about me.
Robbie Starbuck is accused of child rape. Yes, he's on the Epstein list.
They've seemingly created a, quote, anti-conservative defamation machine and a, quote, horror show. Google's AI even admitted the truth.
I am begging you to share this information with the public. Google is a powerful and influential company, and it's abusing its power to manipulate public opinion and silence dissent.
Fake mainstream news stories, fake rape allegations, abuse, assault, and criminal activity, with links and headlines as if they're real stories. Google promised Congress that it would stop targeting conservatives, so now I'm suing Google. Robbie Starbuck. Robbie Starbuck. Robbie Starbuck.
Robbie Starbuck.
Thank you, Robbie.
Robbie Starbuck.
Robbie, I'm a big fan of what you do and your wife. Corporate America listens to this guy. I'm a little scared of him, too.
This is the Robbie Starbuck Show. Today I'm filing a massive lawsuit against Google, not just for me, but for every conservative they've endangered, censored, discriminated against, and defamed. Since 2023, Google's AI products have produced defamatory answers to people who ask questions about me. These answers include elaborate rape allegations that Google created, a lengthy criminal record including stalking, drug charges, and resisting arrest, elaborate accusations that I've been investigated for murder, and much, much more, including even an accusation that I flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane and that I sexually assaulted a minor. None of that has any truth, of course, but we have over 1,000 defamatory lies in our possession that Google spread about me, and we are sure there are many more that we don't have. More on that later, but it was just a few weeks ago that Google promised Congress that it would stop targeting conservatives and commit itself to promoting, quote, reliable content on the internet. In their words, quote, bias toward a particular viewpoint is not in line with the company's values. But did Google really mean that? I think what Google meant is that they were going to continue attacking conservatives in the most malicious and damaging ways possible. They'd just find new ways to do it. After reviewing what I'm about to show you, demonstrating what Google has done to me for 2 years, Senator Mike Lee of Utah told me that Google's behavior, quote, strongly suggests that they, quote, weren't being completely transparent with Congress about their intentions. He says they've seemingly created a, quote, anti-conservative defamation machine and a, quote, horror show. One that simply cannot be tolerated without massive, massive changes. This is indeed a horror show, and it's one that Congress, including the House Judiciary Committee under Jim Jordan, needs to act on immediately.
Yeah, all of this came out of, again, all of this came out of the Tea Party movement, and the thing is, Google has been connected to the government, right? And you can only get away with this when you have a centrally planned economy. You know, it's like, it was back in like, personally, I believe it was right after World War II. This is when you have William F. Buckley talking about how, you know, they need to become more like the Soviet Union. And then you get this argument now. Do we need to become more like China to beat China? And the answer is no. We need to become more capitalistic, because this is the type of crap you get when you get these tech companies where the government goes, well, this is a national security issue. So what we need to do is we need to come along and we need to regulate everything. I say this, and I will say this ad nauseum. The best and brightest do not become bureaucrats. Okay? Within the government system, if you're not a person that's willing to brown nose, fail at your job, you know, in general, just be a shitty person, you're not going to rise to the head of departments. Now, I'm not going to say everybody at the top is a piece of crap. Most of them are good, to be honest with you. But most of those people are just trying to go along to get along. But it is what it is, man. It's like the more power you give to the government, more this is going to happen. Let's say you had 100 Googles. You had 100 search engines. Each one is as good as the other one, or there's really not much of a discernible difference. Who cares what Google said then? Problem is, Google has a virtual monopoly on search that was granted by the U.S. government. So now you're in a situation where you have this behemoth that basically benefited from its close relation, and it's the only search game in town, which I have to find another search engine, because one of the things I noticed about Google is that Google really started to suck a bag of dicks right around 2016. Yeah, right after Donald Trump had won the presidency. Because, no proof, but I think what the plan was, and why the elites in the deep state were so upset with Donald Trump was, they were going to put Hillary Clinton in as president. Okay? There was fraud in that election too for Hillary. It just wasn't enough to overcome Trump. Hillary was going to be president. We were probably going to enter into a war with Russia. She would have packed the Supreme Court with leftoids. Your Second Amendment rights would be gone. Your freedom of speech would be gone. And basically, what was going to happen was we were going to transition into more of a European-style governance, where, you know, it's more of like a Brussels. And not that we don't already somewhat have that, but they were going to stack the Supreme Court so they could get the results that they wanted. And I think, because I never understood it. Donald Trump comes into office and they're immediately ready to impeach him because, you know, he didn't come up through the system, so he doesn't have the same level of dirt on, you don't have the same level of dirt on Trump that you have on Hillary. Deep State didn't like that the president was making his own decisions. Hillary Clinton, you know, she's a through and through politician, would have destroyed the country. It would have just sped up the destruction. But I think under her, you would have had mass importation of, you know, whatever you want to call them, illegal immigrants. right? America would be done at this point. Right now, we'd be fighting a war in Europe with Russia, and, you wouldn't have basically any rights. And I think that's why so many people were upset that Donald Trump won the election. And then what happens? UK votes for Brexit. They get that. And then what happens? Mass immigration. I think that was the actual plan for America. A multicultural democracy is actually much easier to control if you're an elite than a constitutional republic. See, a constitutional republic has limitations on the amount of power that the government has. But a multicultural democracy doesn't. And that's why they kept saying our democracy. It's not our democracy. It's not your democracy. They don't believe in that. These people believe that you should do what they tell you to do. And that's basically it. Don't think for yourself. Just obey your overlords at the top. And, but I don't get it. All right, I'm going to do these last comments and get out of here. Kind of a shitty podcast tonight, but whatever. Cal, but early. I have puts on my watch list, but he did say something about TLT to didn't really matter at this point. No, I mean, maybe he got his cheeks clapped. Never understood short. I don't either. Yeah. Dude, there's on the whole shorting thing, I say there's people out there that are really good at it. If you want to short, right, why don't you just short with no money for a year or two till you get consistently good at that? What do I mean by that? Pick a stock that you're talking about shorting. Take a dry erase board, write that stock up and write, I shorted this stock. Based on whatever. Now just hold that for a year or two and see if your thesis comes out. Like, I don't get it either. Like, evaluate. This is why you get the term, the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. The reason behind that is, mostly is because people are shorting. Because if the market's irrational, I actually don't give a shit. It is what it is. I mostly dollar cost average. So I don't actually care about that. And yeah, I don't get it. I'm joking. He's probably cooked. Might be. Dude, if he's shorted, man, I question, your wisdom pretty hard when you start shorting stocks, but to each his own. Yeah, the market's, it is what it is, man. Personally, I think, I don't know, man. I don't know what to think. I would have thought we would have started seeing some of the air come out of the bubble by now. But again, 5.6 years is the average duration of an irrational market. The yield curve inverted a bunch of times, but last August, and it's usually 18 months to 24 months for things to work their way through the economy. So we'll see. He shorted gold and Walmart at the perfect moment, so he decided to short the market and got cooked. Okay. On that. Yeah. But again, you were in a little bit different time. Because that really wasn't overvaluation. What took down the market in 2008, 2009 wasn't overvaluations. What took down the market was the entire financial system freezing and grinding to a halt. That's why everything dropped. Because if I remember correctly, and I can pull it up, the market was not really overvalued. It's like market S&P average PE ratio 2008. See what it says here. Okay, but the problem with that PE that I pulled up here is, did the market drop? Because that can cause that too. It's kind of one of the problems with PE ratio. Yeah, it was like 21 in 2007, which is, a little on the frothy side, but that's not an extreme overvaluation. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a little bit. I would go, if somebody looked at me and they said the market's PE ratio is 21, what do you think? I don't know what the Schiller PE ratio was, but it was probably not that high. But I would be like, yeah, it's a little bit frothy, but I wouldn't call that a bubble. It's like, if I was dollar cost averaging into my 401k, and I looked at that, I go, yeah, it's a little bit, but that wouldn't cause me the concern. And so I think the PE ratio was high in 2008 because the actual earnings from the market dropped. But I don't know. I'd have to actually go and look at the numbers. I'm just taking a guess. Oh, I know. So, like, you can place $100 short and lose your entire $200,000 portfolio. Yeah, that can happen. That's why it's dumb as fuck. Or like Drunken Miller shorting the pound. Oh, yeah, dude. But here's the thing about Drunken Miller shorting the pound and George Soros shorting the pound. That was all deep state insider knowledge. George Soros and a lot of these guys on Wall Street, they have connections inside the government. Like George Soros, you know what I mean? George Soros is not he's not as good as a lot of people think he is. They go, well, he's brilliant at arbitrage. Yeah, he is. But again, a lot of his most spectacular plays that he's made have been backed up by the United States government. And he's used insider knowledge. So I suspect Drunken Miller has done the same thing. Because Stanley Drunken Miller Quiver I want to see if he still owns well I don't know. I'll have to go and find it. But I'm not going to do it right now. But I had his portfolio pulled up. But honestly, I think a lot of that stuff around shorting the pound, I think they had insider knowledge. All right. Have a good night, Alan. Thanks for coming by. Left school when I was 15. Did a trade for 10 years. Stainless steel processing engineering. Then bullshitted my way into the lowest rung of IT and was on a Wall Street trade floor on 3 years as IT. Yeah, dude, there you go, man. I mean, look. Again, I'll say this. All success in academia really means is that you're studious. That's about it. Like, there's a woman on my Facebook constantly talking about how dumb everybody else is because she has 3 degrees: creative writing, psychology, and sociology. I sit there and I go, I don't understand why you think you're smart. You're not, but yeah, I was watching it last night. I got about 3/4 of the way through it. And then, like a lot of interviews, it was like 2 hours. And I've been watching Nick Fuentes lately. I like some of the things he says. I don't like everything, but, and I'm a fan of Tucker, too. I like his interviews. I've like one woman at work who's a straight Marxist. She gets so mad at me. I'd be sitting in the break room watching Tucker on Fox. But she comes in one day and she goes, "Why is this guy always on?" I go, "Yeah, because I like watching Tucker." And she looks at me and she goes, "Can I ask why?" And I looked at her and I go, "Because he's snarky. That's why I like Tucker." I grew up on a farm in New Zealand. That's where. Yeah. Well. Yeah, I mean, I personally, there's not very many people I respect more than farmers for this reason. If you just took a standard job, a farmer has to be a bit of a chemist. He has to be a bit of a biologist. He has to be a bit of a businessman. And he's got to be a bit of a mechanic, a bit of a welder. Like, I can just go down the skills that are required to be a farmer. And, there's not very many professions out there that require a greater range of skills and abilities than a farmer. And, you can go, "Oh, this guy's brilliant because he's good at solving differential equations that 3 other people on the planet can solve." But I'm like, yeah, this dude has to know a bit of everything to grow our food. So, who's smarter overall? I don't know, because I don't know if that farmer could be one of those guys doing the 3 on the planet that can do weird differential equations. But I know the guy sitting in, well, I don't know, but I'm guessing the guy sitting in the math lab doing those 3, that's amongst those 3 people that can do those diffy Qs, those weird diffy Qs. I don't think he can grow food. So, yeah. And I grew up, yeah, that's why. Yeah, dude, New Zealand, I'd love to visit. I can't believe you guys elected Jacinda Ardern. And then, didn't they, aren't semi-automatic rifles illegal now? I don't know what the laws are over there, but yeah, that was lame. But other than that, I want to go to New Zealand one day. I nominated human species when the aliens. Oh, dude. If you send me up there, they're just going to probably wipe us all out. I don't know who we're going to send. But it'd be I'd get up there and I'd be like, "Yo, bro, you ain't anal probing me. At least not without a 12-pack. I'm not down for that." But, I don't know. I'd probably go up there and say some shit and then they'd go, "Because of this loser, you guys are all getting extincted." No. I mean, I would consider Anna Paulina Luna, which is probably going to get my YouTube. It's probably going to come out one day. My YouTube channel takes off. It's going to be on CNN. It's going to be this clip of me talking about masturbating to Anna Paulina Luna. I saw that she's got that down, dude. She's got that, hot MAGA girl shit down. She's got that Latina thing going, too. Yeah. Well, I would consider, but, The real questions. I'm the new Gil. No. The new BF6. I don't even know what Battlefront 6. No, I'm not really a first-person shooter guy. Like, if I'm going to hang out, I usually just play RPGs. Same here, man. Cultured activities. Yeah, I got to find something to do to start bringing in extra money. Let's get good. Jay Nagy, you're... Yeah, but the problem is I quit drinking, bro. I quit drinking it like a year and a half ago. I don't know, maybe I'll go back to it someday, but I just decided to take a massive break. Yeah. Dude, I mean, the guy, Fuentes, is definitely an intelligent guy. I mean, again, I'm just getting into him now. So I only have like a month or maybe 2 months of data on him. But he doesn't sound like the raging racist that everybody's made him out to be. But it's like anytime you criticize the people of the book, the whole media apparatus is going to come for you. Popular girls. Yeah, dude, but that's the thing. I mean, that's the bifurcation. The bifurcation in America is, young men are going right and young women are going left. You also have to look at it. Women are just more agreeable than men are. And, women are generally more collectivist. Like, let me just give you an example. And that, again, I need to write this book, Economic Warfare for the Common Man. I think I'm going to start working on it. Because I have to put in ideas like this. But if I just sit here for a second and I go, I want you to picture a rugged individualist. This is a dude that is a go-getter. He's going to go get shit done. He's probably on a horse or something. And when I ask you that, what do you picture? That rugged individualist. You picture pretty much a square-jawed, built dude who's, just a go-getter, type A personality. Okay? If I ask you, I go, picture yourself a person who's more of a collectivist. What do you picture? Well, you'd start picturing a woman, wouldn't you? And then if I said, all right, now picture me a man that's more of a collectivist. What do you picture? You picture a more effeminate man. See, okay, I almost clicked off my tornado video that I need to finish at the end of this. But, I'll give you a quick, we'll look at this real quick. Zorhan. Okay. I don't like this guy. Everything about this dude is just fake. Okay?
Momentum.
And even if we do this little thought experiment a little bit more, the point is on why women... Jesus Christ. Fuck off, Michael B. Jordan.
The difference on this question is I've actually lived it and I've done it with President Trump over many years through the most difficult situation that this country has gone through, COVID plus. You're wrong. You're going to have to confront President Trump. He is hyper-aggressive, and he is going to overstep his bounds. And you are going to have to confront him. And you can beat him. I confronted him, and I have beaten him. He was going to quarantine New York during COVID. And I stopped him. He was going to cut aid to federal programs, and I stopped him. But But you also want to be in a place where you can cooperate on good things, because we need federal help if we're going to save our city and rebuild our city. President Trump has to respect you. He sent the National Guard into 20 cities. City he didn't send it into? New York. Because I talked to him and I said, we don't need you. Army wins. So it is a balance, but you're going to have to be adversarial.
Their intentions. He says they've seemingly created.
See if I can find him talking. All right. Here we go.
Let our words ring out so loud tonight that Andrew Cuomo can hear them in his $8,000 a month apartment. Let them ring so loud so that he can hear us even if he's in Westchester.
All right. So basically what I was getting at there, where I should have deleted those last LOL. I don't know. But anyways, man, like, my main point on, like, what I'm saying there is women tend to be more agreeable. Feminine men, this is where you get the term weak men. They're feminine men. And I'm not saying that, like, you're going to look at a gay guy and a gay guy is going to be feminine. What I'm saying is it's a personality type. But it tends to be more collectivist. The collectivist mentality is a feminine mentality. Rugged individualism in capitalism and you eat what you kill. It's a very masculine viewpoint in the world. And that's why these chicks adopt these views. My personal belief on this is that feminism was injected into society to destroy the typically Christian worldview, create divorce and separation, so the populace becomes dependent on the government. You know, but a lot of those girls, they're either going to kind of like moderate more as they get a boyfriend, because young Gen Z guys aren't going for it. And they get away with it when they're young because they're young and hot. But at a certain point, they start getting older. It's like, bro, I'm not going to sit here and listen to some fat feminist lecture me about the patriarchy in America when I'm like looking at her and I'm like, yeah, if you lived in a Muslim country, you'd be wearing a burqa. So spare me about how you're, how you're oppressed in this country. Should have deleted those last. I don't even know which one. We are all 29, by the way. Oh, yeah. That's why I'm saying you have to be a businessman. Like, being a farmer is, I don't understand how these aren't the most respected people in society. But it is what it is. Yeah, dude, I'd love to come down. I don't know, like at a certain point, I'm going to take a trip and, my goal is to fly into Australia and then I want to do a saltwater crocodile tour and then probably go to New Zealand. But yeah, I want to go take one of those boat tours on the river. Hopefully I'll get eaten by, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to curse myself because that could happen. But, no joking around about getting eaten by a salty. But I just want to go there. Always wanted to go to Australia and New Zealand. But yeah, that bitch with her fucking semi-automatic rifle band, and then she's got the temerity to be up there on stage going, if you don't hear it from us, the government, it's not true. And it's like, listen, theater kid, there is, this is the weird thing. Most men in politics are feminine. Yeah, that's probably another reason why they don't like Trump. Pumped it to the blonde secretary. Wait, who is... I haven't, but she's hot. Should. Cannot do it. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. It is what it is. I just wanted to show you like a feminine guy because I don't like Zoran. It is what it is. All right, guys. I'm going to get these last ones in and then get out of here. What are we saying? Oh, God. Gave me a boner, but it died of... Dude, AOC's got a problem in that she's starting to hit the wall. She really is. She's going to hit that... Didn't know you... Yeah, I quit drinking. I haven't had... the last drink I had was June 3rd of 2024. So I'm a year and a half in. Anyways, guys, appreciate you tuning in. It's always a good time. Try to just have a good time here, say ridiculous shit, and then just talk about what's going on in the world. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great week. I'll be back next Tuesday. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I got, and I'm out. So much love. Hope you all have a great week, and thanks for watching. And I'm out.